Raven was a city shrouded in perpetual twilight. Towering structures scraped the sky, indifferent to the misery below. Greg, a skinny boy with watchful eyes, knew only this bleak existence. He was an orphan, a shadow flitting through the city's underbelly.
Orphans in Raven were considered burdens, leeches on society. We scavenged for scraps, our lives worth less than the cobblestones beneath our feet. I've experienced this cruelty firsthand. I bear the scars, both physical and emotional, of a life unfairly burdened.
But Greg harbored a secret, a flicker of something extraordinary. He was different. He could feel it, a tingle in his fingertips when he touched metal, a warmth that spread through him near running water. It was mana, the lifeblood of the world, and Greg was sensitive to it. This sensitivity, however, was a double-edged sword. While it filled him with a subtle wonder, it also made him different, an anomaly in a world that feared anything or anyone out of the ordinary. One night, terror descended upon the orphanage. Whispers of a deadly epidemic spread by orphans swept through the city. Nobles, their faces contorted with fear and disgust, stormed the orphanage. They wore masks and carried wicked-looking blades.
I watched in horror as children were dragged from their beds, their pleas for mercy drowned out by the clang of steel. A crimson tear, unnatural and horrifying, rolled down the cheek of a nobleman. It wasn't an epidemic. It was a massacre.
Panic surged through Greg. He had to escape. He scrambled out a window, the shouts and screams echoing behind him. He ran, his small lungs burning until the sounds of the orphanage faded into the night. That night, Greg truly became an orphan. Alone, hunted and haunted by the memory of crimson tears, he swore to survive. He would honor the memory of those lost, clinging to the hope that one day he could find justice. Years passed. Greg survived on the fringes of society, his senses sharpened by hardship. He learned to control his sensitivity to mana, hiding it from a world that would exploit him. One day he stumbled upon a flyer. The School of Elements, it proclaimed, a place for those with magical abilities.
Hesitantly, I approached the imposing gates of the school. It was a beacon of hope in a world that had shown me little kindness. I was tested, my affinity for mana undeniable. For the first time in my life, I felt a glimmer of belonging.
The school was a haven, a place where his sensitivity was not a curse, but a gift. He delved into his studies, learning to control the elements, his skills blossoming under the tutelage of wise mages. He was no longer just surviving, he was learning, growing, hoping.
Welcome, Greg. Here, your abilities will be honed, your potential realized. You are no longer alone.
The School of Elements, a grand castle perched atop a mountain, surrounded by swirling mists. It was a place where various elements, like fire and water, interacted harmoniously. For Greg, it was the beginning of a new chapter, filled with promise and the spark of hope. At the School of Elements, Greg found more than just knowledge. He found friendship.
I never thought I'd find friends here.
iThe, a fiery young woman with a quick wit and a mastery of fire magic, saw through Greg's tough exterior and challenged him to open up.
You're not as tough as you pretend to be, Greg. Let us in.
Elias, a quiet but brilliant young man who commanded the wind, became Greg's confidant, his calm demeanor a soothing presence.
We're here for you, Greg, always.
Together they trained, their powers complementing each other. They explored the ancient forests surrounding the school, facing mythical creatures and uncovering hidden secrets. Their friendship, forged in the fires of adversity and shared experiences, became Greg's anchor, reminding him that he was not alone.
I think I'm starting to heal, thanks to you both.
iThe and Elias helped Greg to heal. They chipped away at the walls he had built around his heart, reminding him of the warmth of human connection. For the first time since the massacre, laughter came easily to Greg. He began to allow himself to hope, to dream of a future beyond survival.
Maybe there is a future for me after all.
The Infinity Library, a repository of ancient knowledge and forbidden magic, stood at the heart of the School of Elements. Guarded by powerful wards and shrouded in secrecy, it held the answers to countless mysteries.
We need to get in there. The truth has to be somewhere inside.
Drawn by a shared thirst for knowledge and a desire to unravel the truth behind the massacre, Greg, iThe, and Elias sought entry. Within the library's silent halls, they pored over ancient texts, their fingers tracing the faded ink.
Look at this. It's a curse, not a disease.
They uncovered a horrifying truth. The epidemic that had been the supposed justification for the Orphan massacre was not a natural occurrence. It was a curse, a plague of despair unleashed by the Demon King, a malevolent entity who fed on human suffering.
The Demon King. He's behind it all.
The revelation hit Greg like a physical blow. The nobles hadn't just been afraid, they had been manipulated. Their fear twisted into a weapon against the innocent. The Demon King was responsible for the loss of his friends, his home, his childhood.
I can't believe this. He took everything from me.
Rage, cold and potent, coursed through Greg. The years of suppressed pain, the memories he had tried to bury, resurfaced with a vengeance. The Demon King had stolen everything from him. He would have his revenge.
I will make him pay for what he's done.
The carefree boy who had laughed with his friends was gone, replaced by a determined young man on a mission. He would hunt down the Demon King, no matter the cost. He would end his reign of terror and avenge the orphans of Raven.
We're with you, Greg. Every step of the way.
iThe and Elias stood beside him, their faces grim but resolute. They had shared his pain in the Infinity Library, witnessed the reawakening of his trauma. Their friend was gone, but in his place stood a hero, forged in the crucible of suffering and fueled by a righteous fury.
Together, we'll bring him down.
The journey ahead would be long and perilous, but Greg no longer felt fear. He had found his purpose. He would not rest until the Demon King was vanquished and justice was served. The orphan who was once discarded, forgotten, would rise. The hero's journey had just begun.
Let's end this, once and for all.